Hello everyone, welcome to this new video of Wizard Concepts of Mathematics. So in this video I've come with the examples of the previous video. In the previous video I just explained the various applications of argument of a complex number and its application of in finding the logarithms and various properties of it. So now we'll be taking 5 examples, 6 examples. So I'll illustrate the concept of argument, like what's its importance. It's just an application of argument that I'll be teaching in this video. So this is the first question. So our z is equal to 1 plus root 3. So z is equal to 1 plus root 3 I whole power 10 plus 1 minus root 3 I whole power 10. So this is the value of z, and now the question is to find the argument of z. So let us first simplify this. So this is in the form a plus b whole power n, and this is a minus b whole power n. So we can use this binomial expansion. So this comes out to be 10c0 into 1 power 10 into root 3 I whole power 0 plus 10c1 into 1 power 10 into root 3 I whole power now this comes out to be 9. So this is 9 and this is 1 plus 10c2 into 1 power 8 into root 3 I whole square. So this goes on till 10c10 1 power 0 into root 3 I whole power 10. So this is the first bracket, and then the second bracket is 10c0 1 power 10 into root 3 I whole power 0, and now it is minus 10c1 1 power 9 into root 3 I whole power 9 whole power 1 because this is a minus b whole power n, so that expansion is what I am using. Then plus 10c2 into 1 power 8 into root 3 I whole square, and plus so on, and now the next term would be minus. So the last term would be 10c10 into 1 power 0 into root 3 I whole power 10. So this is what we're gonna get, and this is the first bracket and this is the second bracket. So what can we identify from this? That is this is a real term. This is a real term. There is no I term here, there is no complex term here, and in this we can find a complex term because that is root I, and here again it is a real number. We don't find any complex term in this because root 3 I square and I square is minus 1, so it results out to be a real number. So what can we identify from this is the root 3 I. So root 3 I even powers, the term which consists of even powers of root 3 I results in a real number. Fine. So this is root 3 I whole power 0. So this is a even power. So that means the whole result is a real number. And this term also 10c2 into 1 power 8 into root 3 I whole square. So root 3 I whole square, again it is an even power of root 3 I. So again the result would be a real number. So all these terms are also positive, and the other terms are also positive in the first bracket, but in the second bracket we can see the imaginary terms like root 3 I whole power 1, root 3 I whole cube, where you find an imaginary term, all those are negative. And so here it is positive, so we have here the plus sign. So here we have those to be positive, in here we have those to be negative. So all the imaginary terms gets cancelled. Plus 10c1 into 1 power 9 into root 3 I whole power 1 and minus 10c1 into 1 power 9 into root 3 I whole power 1. So these both gets cancelled. So in this way all imaginary numbers, the conclusion is all imaginary terms gets cancelled. All imaginary terms gets cancelled. So the result would be only real numbers. Fine, only real numbers. Now our z is, so I can say z to be a real number. So if z is a real number, that means there is no complex term in this. Fine, so z is a real number. So z will lie on the positive x-axis or negative x-axis. Positive or negative x-axis. Fine, because a real number is what lies on only on positive or negative x-axis, that means the whole x-axis. So the argument of z would be equal to 0 or plus or minus 0 or pi. So if it's on positive x-axis then it's 0, positive x-axis, and if it's on negative x-axis then it is pi. So this is how we'll just classify this. So the importance of argument, like how do you find the argument, is what I actually wanted to describe here. Like the various things that are required. The basic thing is you need to find the complex and whether the z is a complex number or a real number, and then come out to the conclusion that it will be 0, like argument of z is 0 if it's on positive x-axis, and if it's on negative x-axis, then the argument of z would be pi. So coming to the second question, so this is our second question. Again, the z is of some format, so we need to simplify it first. So z is equal to root over 20i plus 21 plus root over 21 minus 20i. So this is what it is given to us. So first of all, let us simplify this, because it's an whole power square root, like it's a square root term. So we shall try to find a term which doesn't consist of a square root. So I can write this 20i plus 21. Basically 20i I can write it as 2 into 5 into 2i. Fine. This 20i I can write it as 2 into 5 into 2i, because 2 into 5 10, 10 into 2 20, so 20i. And this 21 I can write it as so here we have 2 into 5 into 2i, so 5 and 2i. So I can write this or even I can write this in this way. 21 I can write this minus 25 minus 4. Fine, I can write this as 25 minus 4. Basically it is 21 minus, it is 21 minus 20i minus 21. So this should be, minus 25 plus 4. Fine, because this is 20i minus 21. So 20i minus 21, this is what we need to write here. So 20i I have written as 2 into 5 into 2i, and 21 as minus 25 plus 4. So I can write this as minus 5 whole square plus 2 square, and here this is minus an outside of the bracket. So minus 5 square plus 2 square and plus 2 into 5 into 2i. So I can even write this in this way, that is minus 5 square, I can write this 5i square plus 2 square plus 2 into 5i. Fine, because I have written 5i here, I am just bringing this i to 5, so I can write this as 5i. So 5i whole square plus 2 square plus 2 into 5i is nothing but 20i minus 21. So this comes out to be root over 5i plus 2 whole square, so it is 5i plus 2. So this root over 20i minus 21, I can write this as 5i plus 2, and this is this is basically plus or minus 5i by 2, plus or minus 5i plus 2, and this is the first bracket. And coming to the second bracket, so in the second bracket also we can even simplify in that same way. So I'll just move to the next page. So this is root over 21 plus 20i. So in the same way, if we write this, so we get that to be root over 25 plus 2i whole square plus 2 into 5 into 2i. Now 2i whole square in the sense 4i square, so 4 into minus 1, it's minus 4. 21 minus 4 is 21, so positive 21. That's the reason I've written in this way. So it is basically 5 plus 2i whole square. So we get this to be plus or minus 5 plus 2i. So totally the first term is plus or minus 5i plus 2. So plus or minus 5i plus 2. So this is our z. So basically we can take plus and plus at once, plus and minus at once, minus and plus at once, and minus at once. So the total cases that we're going to get is z is equal to 7 plus 7i. This is the first one, and z2 is equal to or you can even just keep it as z. So z is equal to 7 plus 7i minus 3 plus 3i, and 7 minus 7 minus 7i, and 3 minus 3i. So these are the 4 values of z that we're gonna get. And now for each value, like for 7 plus 7i, minus 3 plus 3i, minus 7 minus 7, and 3 minus 3i, we need to find the principal value of argument of z. As told in the earlier video also, the principal value of argument of z for the various quadrants. So basically first we need to identify which quadrant it is. So here both x is greater than 0, y is greater than 0, so it is first quadrant, and in this case it is x is less than 0 and y greater than 0, so it is second quadrant. And here x is less than 0, y less than 0, so it is third quadrant. And here it is x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0, so it is fourth quadrant. So for various quadrants we have various formula for argument of z. So I'll just write those things here. So for the first quadrant we can directly write argument of z is equal to, so it is tan inverse of 7 by 7, because this is the first quadrant term, 7 plus 7i, so you can just write that. So it is tan inverse of 7 by 7, which is equal to 1. So it is tan inverse of 1, so which is equal to 45 degrees. So let me assume this as my alpha. And now for the second quadrant, we have argument of z. These are all the principal values of argument. So principal argument is basically pi minus that is tan inverse of the second one is minus 3. It is 3 by 3, fine. It is x is less than 0 and y is greater than 0, so we can just put this to be tan inverse of 3 by 3, like mod of to be honest, we can just, you need to put it in this way, mod of minus 3 by 3. So it is pi minus tan inverse of 3 by 3. So it's pi minus tan inverse of 1. Again it is alpha, so we can just put this to be pi minus alpha, that is pi minus 45, which is equal to 135 degrees. So this is the second quadrant argument of z. And for the third quadrant term, argument of z is tan inverse of mod y. In this third quadrant you just need to put the y by x, because both are the negative terms. So tan inverse of y by x minus pi. So you can just check here what are the value for the third quadrant. It's minus 7 minus 7i, so you can just put that here. So tan inverse of minus 7 by 7, it's again tan inverse of 1 minus pi, so you get this to be minus 135 degrees. And for the fourth quadrant term, argument of z is minus tan inverse of mod y by x. So it is minus tan inverse of, so you can just check here, fourth quadrant term is 3 minus 3i, so it is mod of minus 3 by 3, so it's again minus tan inverse 1, so it is minus 45 degrees. So here there is a small mistake here, it is tan inverse of, this is x is negative here, so x is negative in the second quadrant, so it is tan inverse of 3 by mod of minus 3. So this is what we're gonna get. So these are the various values of argument of z. This is how you find the principal value of argument of z. And coming to this question, so this is another question. So all these questions are varying from basic to medium level. So the advanced level, or you would say the tough level questions, I am not dealing in this video. Just to explain the importance of argument, like I am explaining all these problems. So this question is z1 is 1 plus i and z3 is root 3 plus i. So the question is to find the value of argument of z1 by z2 whole power 4. So it is argument of z1 by z2 whole power 4. So as we know the properties, we can write this as 4 into argument of z1 by z2. So we know this property, and now again using the property, so 4 of argument of z1 minus argument of z2, and now 4 of argument of z1 is tan inverse of 1 by 1, tan inverse of 1 by 1. All these belong to first quadrant itself, so we don't need to manipulate anything. And second one, tan inverse of this is root 3 plus 1i, so we can write this as 1 by root 3. So it is 4 of tan inverse of 1 by 1 is 45, and minus this is tan inverse of 1 by root 3 is 30. So we get this to be 4 into 15, which is equal to 60. So this is the value of argument of z1 by z2 whole power 4. So this is a pretty easy question basically. So in this question, the condition given to us is mod of z square minus 1 is equal to mod of z square plus 1. So this is the condition given to us, and then we have to find the value of argument of z. So how do we do it? So basically this I will write it as mod of z square minus 1 is mod of z whole square plus 1. And now the next step is mod of z square minus 1 is mod of z square can be written as z into z bar plus 1. And this now I'll just square on both sides, that is mod of z square z square minus 1 whole square is equal to z into z bar plus 1 whole square. And now again using the same thing, like how did I expand this, the same way I'll be expanding this, that is z square minus 1 into z bar square minus 1 is equal to z into z bar plus 1 whole square. So expanding this, we get z square into z bar square minus z square minus z bar square plus 1 is equal to z into z bar whole square, that is z square into z bar square plus 1 plus 2 z square z bar square. So this is how you will be elaborating it and coming to the next page. So we can get this on simplifying totally, we get this to be z square plus 2 z into z bar plus z bar square is equal to 0. So that means z plus z bar square is z bar whole square, like this is z plus z bar whole square is equal to 0, that is z is equal to minus z bar. So when this condition just satisfies, like if I assume my z to be x plus iy, then z bar is x minus iy, and z bar minus z bar is minus x plus iy. So you can just check here, like z is equal to minus z bar, like z plus I minus z bar will be equal to 0 only if z is purely imaginary. Fine, you can just check it here, like z is equal to minus z bar, that is x plus iy is equal to minus x plus iy. So these both can be equal only if x is equal to 0. So that means z should be purely imaginary number. So if z is purely imaginary number, then argument of z is equal to plus or minus pi by 2. That means it can lie on positive y axis or negative y axis. So that's the reason it can be plus or minus y by 2. And coming to this problem, so here the point of intersection of the curves, argument of z minus 3i is equal to 3 pi by 4 and argument of 2z plus 1 minus 2i is equal to pi by 4. So there are actually some obligations for this solution, like two possibilities, but to be honest only one is correct. So I'll just explain how various people are getting various two different answers for this question. So the first part is, you need to keep in mind the every part of the question that's given to us, like it is argument is 3 pi by 4. So we find that 3 pi by 4 is only possible if it's in second quadrant, isn't it? So argument of this term is 3 pi by 4, that means it is in second quadrant. So if it's in second quadrant, like let me assume z is equal to x plus iy. So my complex number z is equal to x plus iy. Now substituting z minus 3i, it should be x plus I of y minus 3. Fine, this is what I'm gonna get. And now this must lie in second quadrant. If that's the case, if this need to lie in second quadrant, then x should be less than 0 and y minus 3 should be greater than 0. That is, x should be less than 0 and y should be greater than c. So this is an important condition that we need to remember. So this is an important condition that we need to remember. While plotting them, we'll understand like what's the mistake. And now, so on simplifying, because this is equal to this whole term is 3 pi by 4. So tan inverse of y minus 3 divided by x is equal to 3 pi by 4. So we get y minus 3 divided by x is equal to, so tan of 3 pi by 4 is minus 1. So we get y minus 3 is equal to minus x. So we get this to be x plus y is equal to 3. So this is the line equation that we have got. And also we need to keep in mind that x is less than 0 and y less than 3, y greater than 3. This is important condition. So people who are getting a different answer is because they are not using this condition. That's the reason people are getting two different answers. And coming to the next page, so the second part is argument of 2z plus 1 minus 2i. So this is what it's given. So we can just put argument of z to be x plus iy. So we get 2x plus 2iy plus 1 minus 2i. Okay, so we get this argument of 2x plus 1 plus I of 2y minus 2. So this is what we're gonna get. So I of 2y minus 2, and this is tan inverse of 2y minus 2 and divided by 2x plus 1 is equal to pi by 4. It is given. So tan pi by 4 is equal to 2y minus 2 divided by 2x plus 1. So we get 2x plus 1 is equal to 2y minus 2. So we get 2x minus 2y is equal to this is plus 1 to go that side, so we get minus 3. So we get x minus y is equal to minus 3 by 2. So y is equal to x plus 3 by 2 is what we gonna get. And also the same thing that we need to keep in mind, because pi by 4 is for the first quadrant, so we need to keep this in mind that 2x plus 1, that is this term, both should be greater than 0, then only that means it is pi by 4, so that means both x and y component, x and y component, the real part and the complex part should be greater than 0, that is 2x plus 1 should be greater than 0 and 2y minus 2 should be greater than 0, that is x should be greater than minus 1 by 2 and y should be greater than 1. So these are the two important conditions that we need to remember again. So using these conditions we shall plot the line. So this is y is equal to x plus 3 by 2, but also we need to remember that y should be greater than 1 and x should be greater than minus 1 by 2. So we should not plot the system that is less than, for the values less than minus 1 by 2, the x should be greater than minus 1 by 2 and also the y should be greater than 1, and in the same case in this case also x should be less than 0 and y should be greater than 3. We should not plot for the values which is x is greater than 0, we should only plot for the values x is less than 0, because then only the condition actually satisfies, that is the argument is 3 pi by 4. So plotting all those things, then we get this to be, so let me draw the coordinate axis first. So this is my y axis, and so we'll just so this is my x axis real part, and now the first line is this, and this, and this is a circle, there is no dot here because it should be greater than minus 1 by 2, it should be greater than minus 1 by 2, it's not less than minus 1 by 2. So from here we must plot, and the value should be, so this is a, I can just put this here. So this is a line of this one, y is equal to x plus 3 by 2, that is x should be greater than minus 1 by 2 and y should be greater than 1, that is this. And for the second system, that is the first system, this one, that is x plus y is equal to 3. So we need to keep these conditions in the mind, that is x should be less than 3 and y should be greater than 3. So starting from here, that is starting from here, we draw the line in this way. So this is 0, 3, and so here the first system, this is the first system, first line, that is x plus y is equal to 3. So x is less than 0, so from here it starts, x is less than 0, this is all a region of x is less than 0 and y is greater than 3, and this system is this one, that is y is equal to x plus 3 by 2, y is equal to x plus 3 by 2, where y is greater than 0 and x is less than minus 1 by x is greater than minus 1 by 2. So keeping all this point in mind, we have plotted this system, and so we can observe that we are not finding any intersection point. So people get to so these points that we need to keep in mind, the argument, and then we need to plot it. So that's the reason we find no intersection point, but people get different answers, because the equation is, for the first equation is x plus y is equal to 3, and second equation is y is equal to x plus 3 by 2. So they just solve these two equations and get a value, and so they feel that this is the intersection point, but to be honest, that's not an intersection point. We can't find any intersection points, because this is the case that we need to keep every point in mind while calculating the argument, because the argument is clearly given pi by 4 and 3 pi by 4, that means they're in the first quadrant and the second quadrant. So keeping those things in mind, we need to plot the straight line. So this is the importance of argument basically. I hope you guys understood all the applications of argument of Z. So I've taken only 5 problems to illustrate the concepts. Like the most important thing is how to find the argument of Z and to differentiate between the argument of Z and the principal value, and then the various applications of it to find. Basically, the last problem that we have the like to find the intersection basically. So when we use the argument, we found that there's no intersection, but when there's a like general solving, we found that there is an intersection point. So we need to keep all these things in mind, the importance of argument. Like when we include argument in the question, that means we are giving an extra condition to it, so we need to satisfy all those things and we need to look out for the solution. So I hope you guys understood this video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.